Hello hoopers and hooper hopefuls, my name is Shannon. I also go by Inertia and I sell hoops at dancehoops.etsy.com. Today I want to show you 3 of our basic polyethylene or PE black irrigation hoops that we sell at our shop. So starting off first, this is called a Shrink With Me, which is really versatile and it's available as an add-on at my shop. Basically you'll get your hoop, it'll arrive like this, and this one is a 40-inch hoop that'll become a 36-inch hoop. There'll be a little piece of vinyl tape holding wax paper and plastic on the end. You open that up, and in it, it's a piece of gaffer's tape. So we're going to remove that gaffer's tape, and we're going to have a barbed fitting. We're going to push it into the female end and cover the seam with the extra tape that is provided. Now you have your 40-inch hoop. Woohoo! I love my 40-inch hoop. It's so fun. But now I want to learn how to do tricks. I want to do this one, but the hoop is like touching the floor, or it's just too big or too heavy. So now you're ready to downsize, right? So going back, you have to locate where our beginning spot was. And so how you can tell is the tape is not only, it's a little bit thicker where it's at, but 12 inches from it will be another connector. Usually I have these separated by about every 25-30 inches. Or if it's a continuous hoop, it'll be obvious. There'll be one spot and there'll be another spot 12 inches from it where the hoop is going to go down in size. So now, it is already covered with gaffer's tape. So you just remove the gaffer's tape, peel it off. And if you want to save it, just in case, you can just tape it onto your hoop anywhere else. And you're going to separate it. Now, the other segment we made, we're going to have to take that tape off too. And again, you could just tape it onto your hoop. We could also save it on the segment, which is going to be removed like so. So now you have a 12-inch piece that you can make sure you don't lose it. So in case you want to get a move and you can't get it, it's really good to be able to go back up in size. So we're going to push the new connector in. I have shaved the connectors down so it is not arm death pushing them in anymore, because man, I tell you what, I have a hard time. I don't know how anyone else could do it, and I have a lot of practice, so I decided to shave them down. So now we're going to take the black gaffer's tape that you had taken off before, you're going to cover it up, and now you have a 36-inch hoop. You can do all those tricks that you were thinking you couldn't do before, and now smaller, like isolations, is way easier to do in a small hoop. So that's the one type, is Shrink With Me. Next, we have collapsible hoops. So, collapsible hoops. Here's the hoop. It comes already packaged up like this. There's usually a ribbon here or a piece of tape holding it into a small coil. People often confuse it for 2 mini hoops and they get a little bit upset, but really it is one big hoop that is folded down to a quarter of its original size. So, first things first, I have, this one's not so pretty. This is one of my beater hoop jam hoops. But anyways, the connectors right here are going to be taped perpendicular to the hoop, so you're going to be able to locate the connectors that way. Usually it's a continuous design, and then somewhere you'll see there's a break in the design. So you're going to notice those 2 connectors, and you're going to hold opposite side of it. So here are the connectors, and I'm holding right here. So now I'm going to open it up, kind of just open up a book, open up the connectors, and now it's a figure 8. So now I'm going to touch either side of these connectors. I'm going to hold them, and I'm going to pull them away from each other, and it's going to start to open up. And it's going to look like it's broken. So it's not broken. What you need to do now is you need to go to the connectors and rotate them so that the hoop aligns into a circle, so that there's a straight line here. Right now it was like this, so you could tell it was at an angle. Make it into a straight line. And then with this too, you're going to twist it and push it together a little bit if it separates, and then it's going to be a straight line. And then now you're going to have a full-size hoop. Woohoo! This is a 44-inch hoop, so it's pretty big. Now, the other kind I have is called a coiled hoop. So that would be pretty much a collapsible hoop that's only shipped small like this for shipping, and you don't want to have to deal with folding it at all. Then you can have a collapsed coiled hoop. So it's usually shipped like this. It's just one piece of tubing that's coiled up, And when it arrives, it will also have that wax tape with the gaffer's tape on it. And my barbed fittings are a little more rigid, so I haven't shaved them down. Unless you request it, I can shave them down. But it's more durable when it's not shaved down, then you don't have to worry about it coming apart at all. But it's a lot harder to break apart. So once you have it connected and it's a barbed fitting and it's not shaved down, it is permanently connected because you cannot pull that connector out after it's a full-size connector is pushed in. So if you want to have the option of having it be travel friendly, you can ask and request to have the connector shaved down. It's a few extra dollars because it does take me a bench grinder and some time to do it, but I can totally do that for you too if you need that. So now you have a coiled hoop. What you're going to do is you're going to push it together. So let me get back so you can see a little bit what I'm doing. I go up and down, up and down, up and down. I also push like this. It's already connected. This one's easy. It also connects like this a little bit. You got to twist and you got to push up and down, but don't push down so far that it kinks right here, because that can happen and you will not be happy. So now it is connected and you have a coiled hoop. Also with the coiled hoop, you may want to heat up the connector. That's another option, because in the cold winter months, this plastic can get really rigid and really hard. And so what I do is I take a hair dryer and I blow it into this circle for like 20-30 seconds. That way it doesn't like mess up the tape and everything. And then you're able to push it in a lot easier. If you don't have a hair dryer on hand, I also put it next to the warm area of a electric heater. Obviously not like in the heater or in a fire. Don't do that either. But just near it, or if you have any kind of heat source that blows hot air, you can put it next to that. And also you can just leave it in the sun, like leave the one area where you want to get it warmed up in the sun. So you can have like a shady spot and just leave the connector in the sun like for an hour or two, and that'll warm it up also. Just the black plastic inside of it will heat up. And then you can push in the connector and it's a lot easier. Those are for barbed fittings that are not shaved down. But just like the other type, you want to get that extra piece of gaffer's tape and cover it right here. And then it will be it won't have any seam showing, because this area can pinch you if you have a seam right here and you're doing like a break on your arm. If there's a seam, you don't want to get pinched right there. Even if it's super flush, you can still get pinched, because when the hoop bends, it twists and it kind of creates an area, and you don't want to get a nice big bruise and pinch on your arm. So if you have any other questions about my polyethylene hoops, just send me a question at dancehoops.etsy.com. Have a great day. Happy hooping.